Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video tutorial, I'm going to be showing you another example where we're going to be finding the zeros for a function, and then we're going to be looking at how those zeros tie in to its graph using Desmos. So we're going to jump right into it. So we have this problem here, h of x, and what we want to do first is we want to replace h of x with the value of 0 because we're trying to find our solutions. And as in the previous video, most students are not used to seeing the 0 on the left side. So I'm just going to swap it out and I'm going to move it to the right. Matter of fact, let me just rewrite this. Okay. So I rewrote it. Now the next thing that we're going to want to do is figure out whether there is a greatest common factor between these four terms, because we want to factor our polynomial before we find the solutions. And there's no greatest common factor or GCF between the four terms, but there are four terms, so we can use the grouping method. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to group the first two terms together, and I'm going to group the second terms together. So I'm going to write negative x to the third power minus x squared plus 9x plus 9 is equal to 0. Okay, so now that we've got that, the next step then is to find a GCF for each set of terms. So I need to find a GCF for this set of terms, and I need to find a GCF for this set of terms. So I see here that I'm going to factor out a negative. I can also factor out an x squared from both terms. And for this set, I can factor out a 9. So I'm going to rewrite my function with those terms factored out, and on the left side I'm going to get so I'm going to get negative x squared times x plus 1, and then on the right side I'm going to get plus 9 times x plus 1, and then again we're making it equal to 0. Okay, so now that we've gotten to this point, you'll remember from previous videos that we combine our GCFs together, and then you did your grouping right when what you have inside of the parentheses matches. So we're going to take this x plus 1 and we're going to write that as its own binomial. So I'm going to write x plus 1, and then I'm going to take my green terms, or my GCFs, and that's going to be a set of terms. So that's going to be negative x squared plus 9, and then again we're making it equal to 0. Okay, so we get to this point, and you could use the zero product property from here. You could also factor this further, but you'll see that for simplicity's sake, I'm going to go ahead and apply the zero product property and make each part equal to 0. So I'm going to make x plus 1 equal to 0, and then I'm going to make negative x squared plus 9 equal to 0. Okay, so we get to this part, and the next step then is to isolate the variables. So here I'm going to subtract 1, and that is going to give me x is equal to negative 1. And then on this side, it's going to be a multi-step process to isolate the variable, but it beats factoring it further, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to subtract 9 on both sides. That is going to leave me with negative x squared is equal to negative 9. I want to get rid of this negative, So that is going, I'm going to divide both sides by a negative or -1. And that's going to eliminate the negative on the left side, which is going to leave me with just x squared is, and then on the right side, I'm going to be left with +9. And so I'm just going to bring this with me because that's already complete. I have already found my first solution. And then if you remember from the previous video, in order to get rid of a power, you have to then move it to the other side. You have to do the inverse. And since here we have the power of 2, where the inverse of the power of 2 is taking the root of 2 or the square root on both sides. And that is going to give me x is equal to plus or -3, because fortunately in this case 9 is a perfect square, so we can take the square root, which is 3. All right, and then so this I want to make it clear that this is technically it's 2 solutions. So we have a 3 or the +3, and then we have a -3. So we have essentially 3 solutions for this function on where the graph crosses the x-axis. So just like I did in the previous video, I'm going to rewrite my solutions in order of how you would see it on the coordinate plane from negative to positive. So I'm going to take my -3 first. So my first solution is x is equal to -3. I'm going to take my second solution, which is x is equal to -1. And then I'm going to take my third solution, which is going to be x is equal to +3. So we've got 3 solutions. I'm going to go ahead and graph my original polynomial onto Desmos, and then I'm going to jump right back with that graph so that we can confirm that these are our 3 solutions, and then we can kind of see what the graph is going to look like for this polynomial. All right, guys, so now that we're back and we have our graph off Desmos and we have our original polynomial before it was factored, we can compare where this graph is going to cross the x-axis with our zeros or the solutions that we found. And as you guys can see, our first solution is -3, our second solution is -1, and our third solution is 3. All right, guys, so I hope that you found this video tutorial helpful, and stay tuned for more videos to come, guys. I'll talk to y'all soon.